50 years ago, Vietnam was a war-torn country beginning a painful reunification process. Today, it's modernizing rapidly, growing its economy, population, and industries, positioning itself to become Asia's next economic powerhouse, potentially surpassing Japan by 2050. Vietnam's success story begins with its unique geography and continues through remarkable economic transformation despite historical challenges. Vietnam's distinctive S-shape stretches over 1,600 kilometers from north to south, creating three distinct regions with unique characteristics. In the north, the rugged Annamite Range forms a natural barrier, while the Red River Delta provides fertile land, supporting dense populations in cities like Hanoi, the capital. The narrow central region, wedged between the South China Sea and mountains, is prone to typhoons but hosts important cities like Da Nang and Hue. The southern Mekong Delta, a vast network of waterways and rice paddies, supports Vietnam's status as a leading rice exporter and contains Ho Chi Minh City, the country's largest metropolis and economic hub. Vietnam's 3,200-kilometer coastline features natural wonders such as Ha Long Bay in the north, known for its limestone karsts, and Phu Quoc Island in the south, a growing center for tourism. The country's diverse topography also includes vast caves, with Sun Dung Cave being the largest known cave in the world. Climate variations across the country influence agriculture, with rice thriving in deltas and coffee production flourishing in highlands. This geography has shaped Vietnam's development, but also led to its complex history of invasions and wars that have defined the nation's resilient character. A challenging history. Vietnam's recorded history spans over 2,000 years, beginning with the ancient kingdom of Van Lang, ruled by the Hung kings, making it one of the oldest continuous entities in the world. In 111 BCE, China's Han dynasty invaded northern Vietnam, starting a millennium of Chinese domination that deeply influenced Vietnamese society through Confucian ideals, governance structures, and cultural practices. Despite this, frequent uprisings occurred, including the famous rebellion led by the Trung sisters in 40 CE and Ngo Quien's successful revolt in 938 CE, which re-established Vietnamese independence. Following independence, Vietnam saw the rise of several dynasties, including the Lai, Tran, and Le, which expanded its territory southward in a process known as Nam Tien. This expansion pushed the Cham and Khmer peoples south and further solidified Vietnam's presence in the Mekong Delta. Throughout the centuries, Vietnam persevered against external invasions, even repelling the mighty Mongol Empire 3 times when Vietnam was known as Dai Viet, demonstrating the fierce independence that would characterize the nation throughout its history. In the 1800s, Vietnam faced European colonialism. The French gradually conquered Vietnam beginning in 1858, incorporating it into French Indochina, along with Laos and Cambodia. While Vietnam experienced economic and infrastructure development under French rule, including an extensive railway network, it came at the cost of sovereignty and exploitation, with the colonial administration prioritizing cash crops like rubber and rice for French benefit, while reshaping urban centers with French cultural and political influence. After World War II, Vietnam declared independence, but France attempted to reassert control, leading to the First Indochina War. Following France's decisive defeat at Dien Bien Phu in 1954, Vietnam was temporarily divided along the 17th parallel, with the communist-led Democratic Republic of Vietnam under Ho Chi Minh in the north and the US-backed Republic of Vietnam in the south. This division sparked the Vietnam War, fueled by Cold War tensions. The United States intervened heavily, fearing the spread of communism, but North Vietnam ultimately prevailed in 1975, reunifying the country under communist rule. Saigon, the seat of power in South Vietnam, was renamed Ho Chi Minh City, and Vietnam embarked on a path of reconstruction. Economic transformation. Modern Vietnam is emerging as one of Asia's fastest-growing economies. The turning point came in 1986 with the Choi Moi reforms, when the government recognized the limitations of central planning and initiated market-oriented policies encouraging private enterprise, foreign investment, and global trade integration. These reforms, while starting slowly, eventually led to decades of consistent economic growth, transforming Vietnam from an agrarian society into a dynamic industrial economy with increasing global influence. Manufacturing and global supply chains. Vietnam's booming manufacturing sector has become a cornerstone of its rise. The country has positioned itself as a key player in global supply chains, attracting multinational companies seeking alternatives to China. Major corporations such as Samsung, Intel, and Nike have established large operations in Vietnam, benefiting from competitive labor costs, improving infrastructure, and strategic location in Southeast Asia. This shift has fueled the rapid growth of industrial zones in cities like Ho Chi Minh City, Hanoi, and Da Nang, creating employment opportunities and technological transfer that further accelerate development. Vietnam has emerged as one of the few winners in the ongoing US-China trade tensions. As American companies seek safer and more cost-effective manufacturing bases outside China, many have turned to Vietnam as an alternative, accelerating its industrial development and export capabilities. This strategic positioning has allowed Vietnam to capitalize on geopolitical shifts while maintaining relatively good relations with both economic superpowers. Beyond manufacturing, Vietnam has made significant strides in its tech sector, positioning itself as a future leader in innovation and digital transformation. Homegrown companies like FPT Corporation and VNG compete regionally and globally, developing software, digital services, and entertainment products. Vietnam has also ventured into high-tech manufacturing with VinFast, its own electric vehicle company that aims to compete internationally by exporting electric cars to North America and Europe, signaling Vietnam's ambitions in the global automotive industry. In 2024, Vietnam's GDP reached $66 billion, making it the 33rd largest economy globally. Just 20 years earlier, in 2004, its GDP was only $5 billion, representing extraordinary growth and wealth creation in a relatively short period. The service sector is also expanding rapidly, with tourism, finance, and e-commerce driving development and creating new opportunities for Vietnamese entrepreneurs and workers. International visitors are increasingly drawn to Vietnam's natural beauty, cultural heritage, and modern amenities, further boosting economic diversification. Demographic advantage and future prospects. Vietnam's economic outlook is bolstered by its demographic advantage. Unlike aging Japan, Vietnam's population continues to grow rapidly, increasing by almost 75 million people between 1950 and 2020. Its relatively young population tends to earn and spend more, boosting economic prospects and creating a dynamic consumer market. This demographic dividend provides Vietnam with a workforce advantage that many developed Asian economies are losing as their populations age, potentially giving Vietnam a competitive edge for decades to come. Education and skill development are receiving increased government attention, with a focus on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to meet the demands of a tech-driven economy. Vietnam's educational system has shown impressive results in international assessments, particularly in mathematics and science, positioning the next generation for success in knowledge-based industries. The country's literacy rate exceeds 95%, providing a solid foundation for continued human capital development. However, challenges remain as Vietnam continues its global ascent. While the country is growing wealthier, this wealth isn't distributed equally across regions and social classes. Vin Group, a large conglomerate controlling companies across various sectors, including the automaker VinFast, real estate developer VinHomes, pharmaceutical company VinFa, and AI company VinAI, has been accused of anti-competitive practices, contributing to income inequality that is increasingly prevalent in Vietnam today. Rural areas and ethnic minorities often lag behind urban centers in economic development and access to services. Environmental challenges also loom large, with climate change threatening the Mekong Delta through saltwater intrusion and coastal erosion. Urban areas face growing pollution and infrastructure pressures as rapid development outpaces planning and regulatory frameworks. Balancing economic growth with environmental sustainability represents one of Vietnam's most significant challenges moving forward. Today, Vietnam has about 100 million people, projected to reach 120 million by 2050. Meanwhile, Japan's population of 124 million is expected to fall below 100 million in the same time frame. This creates an interesting crossroads. Vietnam is ascending despite inequality issues, while Japan is declining but remains economically secure. This demographic shift could fundamentally alter the power dynamics in Asia, with Vietnam potentially taking the economic and population crown from Japan in the coming decades. Vietnam is unlike any other place in the world, combining ancient traditions with rapid modernization in a unique cultural blend. Its journey from war-torn nation to emerging economic power demonstrates remarkable resilience and adaptability. Thank you for watching this documentary on Vietnam's remarkable journey and economic transformation. We hope this exploration of Vietnam's past, present, and future has provided valuable insights into this fascinating country.